Hi there, my name is Alexandra Backshell and I'm the creator of the blog The Simple Life, which I started that's a year ago this month, so yeah. And it was all inspired by an incredible healing journey that I went on with food. And yeah, so my story started in 2010. Life was great, I had a great job, and I just got engaged to my partner. He was a childhood sweetheart I'd always had a crush on, and yeah, so life was pretty cruisy. I had this little mole on my back. It wasn't actually little, it was getting bigger and bigger, and I've been to the doctors a couple of times and said, no, it's fine, it's all good, nothing to worry about. But as time was going on and it just wasn't, and it started to bleed, and yes, the doctor looked at it again and he said, okay, we're going to take that off. And they did, and did the biopsy, and it confirmed my absolute worst fear. It was a malignant melanoma, and they told me that at this point I had a 50-50 chance that they had got it out in time and hadn't spread to any other areas of my body. So the CT scan afterwards revealed that it hadn't. So I was quite over the moon. This really horrible, frightening situation, but the doctors were still really concerned. And they said, you know, we're going to have to really keep an eye on you. And so I think it was 6 months down the line, I had a lump under my armpit, and again, it confirmed another worst fear, that it had actually spread. And it was in my lymphatic system. So I had a massive double lymph node operation, super painful, horrible recovery. But yeah, so I just plodded on. And then a year later, which was probably the worst and probably one of the most defining moments for me, was the third diagnosis, which was a lump on my abdomen that revealed after a CT scan that the melanoma had spread to various parts, organs in my body. And it was just horrible. Grim day in the doctor's office. I just remember them saying there's nothing we can do really, there's not much treatment that's very effective, and it's all really experimental for me. So they said that I could go up to London, and there was a hospital there that I could go to and take part in medical trials if I qualified. So like I said, the third diagnosis was a really defining moment for me, because the whole time throughout this situation I'd really put my total kind of everything into the medical system to fix this problem, and I kind of realised that like they weren't getting to the bottom of it, you know. And I remember driving home and I was so angry, like more than anything, like I was just so fed up with this, you know. And I kind of did have a bit of a, oh, you know, like just got to sort this out, you know, it's time for me to step up and really take control of my health, you know, I've got to do something about it. And it was food, you know, all these things that night as well, like were coming into my head. I remember when I lived in Australia, and you know, I used to always have wheatgrass and juices, and remembering the health benefits of that, and various things like stories like Chris Carr that I read about, and you know, her amazing journey with food, and just all these things just started coming up, and I just got onto the internet and just fired up Google, and that was it, you know, researching plant-based diets and everything. And where I live in Brighton, there isn't many juice bars, but there was one that I used to go to here and there, and the guy there is just so cool. And I remember going there, and I don't know, I just told him everything that happened, and he was like, Alex, listen, you know, get a juicer, and you know, we get fresh wheatgrass here, we can supply it to you. And he started talking about the alkaline diet, and he gave me this like leaflet, and it was like, you know, all the alkaline foods, and he was saying, you know, like if you get onto this kind of way of eating, you know, it's really hard for disease to exist in the body when you're eating alkaline foods. So I remember that night, like going home, and I had a juicer under one arm, and I had my alkaline sort of leaflet, and yeah, everything just evolved from there. And I just remember feeling so it's a bit corny, but I was really empowered. I thought, you know, I really am gonna, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna absolutely fix this, and I'm gonna do it with food. And you know, I was still visiting the hospital and I was having treatment and everything, but I just wasn't focused so much on that. I just couldn't wait to get out and get home and kind of make a juice and, you know, start making some raw desserts and just, you know, like making all this food that I've been experimenting with. And then it was about 2 months into the treatment, and I had my first scan, and just going to the hospital, and it was kind of quite a nice vibe. I walked in, and, you know, for a change, instead of, you know, like doctors with like grim faces, and they were kind of like, we've scanned you and, you know, we can't see any trace of the melanoma, you know, it's gone. And it's kind of like, you know, you defied the odds. And, you know, they were a bit baffled. Like, I remember the research nurse was kind of wow, and I was just over the moon. And I was trying to say to like one of the nurses, you know, I've been kind of doing this and I've been juicing, whatever. Not interested at all. They were like, oh, that's great, yeah, you know. And the doctor was the same. It was kind of like, you just carry on with that. And I did, and I have been for 3 years now, and 4 years now, yeah. So yeah, so I've just been kind of eating this incredible plant-based diet, and the other thing that I did was I switched to organic food, because I just realised that eating sort of, you know, food that was sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, fungicides and everything just wasn't good for my system. I cut out dairy, scary dairy, what I call it now, and all these foods, meat, you know, and that was something I never thought ever that I would cut out. It was a very slow process, but I just found the cleaner I was eating when I did have these foods, like how kind of rough I felt, you know, and all the little kind of digestive issues and all the things that I'd had in the past actually had gone away. But whenever I had sort of like cheese or, you know, like quite a heavy meal, or if I'd go out, you know, I really felt it, you know, and the next day I just wanted to kind of start getting back into my plant-based eating again and have a juice and just feel, you know, kind of like vibrant again. And the other thing was, before my diagnosis, my diet really revolved around low-fat food. Everything was calories, you know, low fat, and that's kind of how I existed in this low-fat world. I was the queen of low fat, you know, I'd know exactly how much saturated fat was in this or that, and it was just a really boring way of eating, and it kind of left me very tired, uninspired, and it just wasn't nourishing me. And the key thing that I've learned through eating well is just how good you do feel. Really do. I just feel sort of, you know, like just healthier, just more energy, and you know, just kind of a clearer mind, you know, really do feel, and I enjoy it. And that's the other thing as well, it's not something that's a hardship for me at all. I absolutely enjoy eating this way, and I think that's the key message that I want to say to people. It's like, just make sure that, you know, when you're changing a way of eating, that you're eating and doing something that you love, and you're doing it from a place of love, because it just makes it so much easier. And it's the same with like exercise. I started doing exercise that I loved, you know, moving my body in a way that I absolutely loved, you know, and enjoyed it. You know, all the other exercise regimes I used to do were just kind of full on, and you know, didn't enjoy doing it, and it was a real hardship. So that's another thing, you know, it's just doing things that you love. Make sure that everything that you do when it comes to your health comes from a place of absolute love, for yourself and your body. Yeah, and so that's my little story. So I hope it's inspired all of you to, you know, get on the healthy wagon, and, you know, just you know, it's important, you know, and it's one of the biggest things that I've learned is that, you know, our diet is everything. It's absolutely everything. So yeah, thank you.